where we take 100 films and we rank them from 100 to 1. You see, I give this the same speech at the beginning of each one because you never know when one of these random ones is going to be somebody's first. So you always got to start off. I'll start from the beginning again. 100 for 100. The podcast, where we take 100 films and we rank them from 100 to 1 of movies that I think every movie watcher should watch at least once in their movie watching lifetime. And I ranked them because there's no better way to have Twitter yell at you. And each one of them got an accompanying 100-word review, which is how you get the name for this show, 100 for 100. And a podcast. That's right. The very podcast I'm doing. And in the joining podcast, you get one a day for the first 100 days of what turns out to be a fucking disappointing year so far. But hopefully this podcast is a little 5-6 minute nugget to cheer you up here. Yesterday, we were way out in space with 1968's 2001: A Space Odyssey, directed by Stanley Kubrick. An amazing, wonderful science fiction film. One of the best, the granddaddy of sci-fi films. Today, our feet are back on the ground, firmly planted in, a little bit of New York, a little bit of Vegas, a little bit of Cuba, a couple different places. 1974, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. It is The Godfather Part 2. Let's get into this 100-word review, shall we? The Godfather 2 sets the bar as one of the rare films that surpasses its predecessor. No mean feat, considering the stature of the first. With a returning ensemble cast that somehow manages to add Robert De Niro as a young Vito Corleone, The Godfather 2 builds upon the themes of the first and transitions Michael Corleone from lost soul to monster, sanctioning possibly one of the most unforgivable acts committed on film. Trust, betrayal, and paranoia are strongly prevalent as motivating factors. The contemporary times are bookended nicely by the film's flashback sequences that show Vito's quiet rise to power. Another good long movie. A movie I was fortunate enough to see in theaters last year. That was a wonderful experience seeing a film this great on such a wonderful big screen. Thank you to Fathom Events. Whew. Had to pull that one out. Thanks to Fathom Events for throwing that little bit of business out there in Godfather 2. Look, man, this joint. A lot of people think, or a lot of people, rightfully have their opinion that when it comes to mob films and crime films, that Goodfellas tops the list. I disagree with that statement. Goodfellas is very high on that list. It does not top the list. And The Godfather transcends the genre is the best way of putting it. Yes, it's about the mafia. It's about mob shit. You got all your trappings of a mob film. You got power grabs. You got, Italians, Sicilians in this case. You got hits going on. They got lawyers on retainer. They're ducking the feds. They're doing all this kind of stuff. All your usual tropes. But these they play with them a different way. You have a person who is legitimately trying to get out of that life, get his whole family out of that life, going straight. And he's just impeded by obstacles, and he's forced to do at times more monstrous things in order to get himself out of that situation. And even at the beginning, when Kay, he tells Kay in Godfather Part 1, the Corleone family is going to be legit in 5 years. At the beginning of Godfather 2, Kay reminds him of that, and she's like, it's been 7 years. What's going on here? And he's trying to get the whole thing, legitimized with the casinos out in Vegas that, Mo Green helped them set up before he took a bullet to the eye while getting a massage. There's complications abound. He's got to grease the palms of Governor Pat Geary. He's got Hyman Roth all up in his ass doing stuff. There are a lot of things at play here. This is what lets me know that I would not make it out alive as Michael, because there's too many balls in the air, too many different directions the knives could come from. And Mike is cool and unflappable and an utterly ruthless bastard. To even the point where Tom Hagen says, why do you feel the need to just crush everyone? Why do you feel the need to to destroy everyone. And, he tells him, I don't feel the need to destroy everyone, just my enemies, which I think is one of the most cold-blooded lines in that movie. Excellent performances. I think Pacino is best in this movie as Michael Corleone. He's good in Godfather 1. He has a good turn in Godfather 3, but here he is fully locked in as Michael Corleone. Al Pacino's crazy comes from his eyes, and he does a lot of eye acting in this movie. Just some of the subtle rage going on behind the eyes, especially when Kay is telling him that she aborted their baby. The look on his face is fucking terrifying. Right before he smacks the shit out of her. Knocks the chair over and all that kind of good stuff. The deterioration of his relationship because of just how far he's gone and how lost his soul is. Deterioration of his relationship with Kay. And his brother, Fredo. Fredo's the weakest one of the bunch. He's the one who slips up, man. He due to his actions directly, or due to him trying to prove that he is something more than what he actually is, that allows them to get a little bit too close to Mike and his family. And that's why he has to, at the end of the movie, make that unforgettable act. I think Coppola shines in this, as well as Ennio Morricone, putting in great work on the score in the background. This movie, man, you got to stay locked in, because there's a lot of wheels happening. You think a lot's happening, and then the Senate hearing starts. You're like, we're only like halfway through the movie. You got the whole business down there. Hyman Roth in Cuba, he's trying to make his moves late in life. He's trying to get back into the U.S., or whatever the case may be. He's got to make a couple of trips out there. Mike does. Fredo goes along with him. That's how Mike finds out with the whole Johnny Ola connect. I love this movie. And then, you can't not talk about Robert De Niro as a young Vito Corleone. So you get to see his immigration from Sicily to New York at Ellis Island. I have his little not quite jail cell, looking at the Statue of Liberty, and how he comes up in the game just by, Don Fanucci had a whole different approach than what young Vito Corleone has. Fanucci was more about intimidations and threats, more trappings of mob films, right? Whereas Vito is more soft-spoken approach. What can I do to help you? That kind of, and you can see that's, seeing how he handles things in Godfather 2, you now understand why he is so widely loved and respected at the beginning of the first Godfather. If you've never seen Godfather Part 2, I really don't know what to tell you. What you do with your life? If you don't like mob movies, get over it. It's about a man trying to a man selling his soul, trying to save his soul, basically. So check out number 5 on the list, The Godfather Part 2.